You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
This time yesterday, so many possibilities, and 24 hours later, we have so many answers to delve into what's happened in the last 24 hours. As always, I am joined by the host of Go Time Dolphins, Charlie Touche. Charlie, tell everyone what time it is.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and official affiliates of Fanatics, where you could be a fanatic of your favorite franchise. Shout out to the 2025 Miami Hurricanes. Came up a few points shy. Could have had one more touchdown. But it is what it is. It's the end of a season. Bert came by the crib. We were watching the game together. And me and my younger brother had this conversation too, once upon a time. And then me and Bert had it yesterday too. And there's a debate amongst some people, I'll just say. And the debate is, what do you think it'll be? What do you think would be more exciting to win? A national championship or a Super Bowl? And I remember having this conversation when I was younger with my younger brother, and I thought it was a national championship. And I was just having a conversation again with Bert, and I still think it'll be more exciting. It'll mean more to win a national championship. I don't know why. I don't know why it feels like that, but maybe because there's like professionalism when it comes to a Super Bowl, and national championship kind of still feels like schoolish, high school, and you technically still in college. So I don't know, man, but shout out to the Hurricanes. We didn't get it done, but it's been a good ride. What you got, Kadeem?
Very, very, very quick question on that. Do you think that opinion could change now with NIL deals, and that it's essentially, it's not so much about who you recruit, it's more about who you pick up and pay the most money to? Like that sense of, you draft or you recruit a class, and over the years it improves and gets to a point where it can win, as opposed to, now you're seeing hundreds, if not thousands, of kids transfer, and it basically becomes a free agency essentially.
That's a really good question, because me and Steve, we brush the surface of the topic from time to time via text message, and I'm of the belief student athletes should get paid. For a long time I've thought like that. Like, bro, there's billions of dollars with a B that institutions make off of these athletes. Why can't they get something out of it, right? So even when athletes couldn't even sign stuff for their own benefit, like they could sign stuff for other people and for other people to make money off of them, which is crazy to me, but they can't make anything for themselves. And it goes, and I won't go too far, and I want to answer your question, but there was a point, Kadeem, where I'm like, help me make this make sense. If I get a scholarship to a university as a music artist, like a musician of sorts, how is it that I can have I could have lessons? I could teach you how to play the trumpet, and I can sell my lessons, and I could get paid for giving music lessons to teach people how to play instruments as a student with a scholarship. However, I cannot get paid as a student athlete. Help me understand that. So you have to fix that, right? So now that part is fixed, yeah, that's cool. But now there's a new part introduced, which is okay. We have to fix it still, but it's introduced, which is there's no more like, man, my brother hit it on the head like a couple weeks ago when I went to see him in Texas for Christmas, and he was like, bro, some of these kids go from school to school and they don't even know the school song. You know what I'm saying? You ain't been there long enough to even know the school song. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, what school are you going to revisit when it's time to go back to school and say, oh, this is my alma mater? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is where I went to school and this is where I'm going to put my money and this is where I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? What? Yeah, man. So I feel you with the transfer portal thing. I still think as long as coaches are under contract and then they can leave in the middle of their contract to take another job somewhere else, how is it that coaches can do it, but players can't? So something has to be fixed. I'm all for having a conversation, but I'm also not a fan of every year a quarterback goes to a different school. Like, it's crazy. So I'm not cool with that either. But it's where we're living right now, and there's a part of me that's like, at least they're getting paid for it, and it's kind of better than before. But it has its cons to it.
Shout out to Only the Real Survive. We are live on YouTube. So any comments, feel free to send them. We will read them out within reason. He says it's cool them making money, but that transport portal needs to go. Or transfer portal needs to go. So yeah.
Hold up. You sound like you about to turn the page. Here's why I don't know if the transfer portal needs to go. Because if a coach can leave, that coach recruited players to come to that school with him. And then he left them. So now that player stuck at that school without that coach that left in the middle of a contract. So I don't know about that. I think it needs to be fixed. I don't know if it needs to go, but go ahead, Kadeem.
Yeah, I think, if you limit the amount of ins and outs you can have per. Anyway, this is a Miami Dolphins. Okay, and yeah, Charlie, this is Kenner ranking. It's not that we don't remember. It's just that the name is now Only the Real Survive. This is one of the things that YouTube just changed randomly, and all of a sudden, Kenner ranking. Unless it's a brand new account, yeah. But shout out Kenner. Long time no speak. Charlie, we recorded, and it's quite funny. So before yesterday's episode, we recorded, I think after Mike went, and basically said we'll jump back on when the Dolphins make a hire, because I'm traveling for work, you're busy work, kind of stuff. We recorded yesterday. The Dolphins haven't made a hire, but it's been a week. We'll jump on. I think you said after the show, you think the Dolphins will announce someone or announce Hafley. We assume it's going to be on Tuesday or Wednesday. They'll let the Canes, have their day, have their moment, and then 20 minutes later, it's basically announced to confirm Jeff Hafley will be the next Miami Dolphins head coach. Now it's official, and it's no longer speculation, which we've known for 2 weeks, basically. I guess my question to you is, have your thoughts changed? Are you still not infused by this hire? Like, where's your head at right now?
Yeah, there was never a doubt. I knew it was going to be Jeff. We kind of knew it was going to be Jeff Hafley. Like, there is never a doubt. I don't love it, but there's a chance. Bro, listen, I'm not one of those fans that just get upset when he doesn't get his way, or when I don't get my way, and then I just hate the team just because it's easier to hate than it is to like, let's see what's going on, right? Like some people wake up on the wrong side of the bed every single day as a fan. Now, it might be warranted. I'm not saying that it's not. You know what I'm saying? The franchise has been failing us forever, so I can't tell you how to feel. I'm just telling you I'm not one of them, right? So this does not feel good. This is not exciting to me, Kadeem. There have been, let's see, the past, who we had, McDaniel, Flores, Gase. We'll stop there. There have been some times in the past 15 years that I was excited about some things in the past 15 years with the last 3 coaches that we had. This doesn't bring me any excitement. We have a chance to, right the ship, and we'll see what happens. There was a comment on social media that said, Sullivan alienated the entire team except for 4 players, because he mentioned 4 players that he felt like were basically the core of the team. And basically is like, bro, that's what a rebuild is.
Yeah.
Like, you don't care about everybody's feelings, bro. I came here to clean up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to make friends. So I'll say strap in, but I also say it doesn't have to take forever. The same way I sit here on this microphone, Kadeem, and I try to tell everybody, this is not the same NFL with Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, all those, and Phillip Rivers, and all those big time quarterbacks that we've had growing up. And in the NFL, it's like, yo, you had to have one of these big time quarterbacks in order to do it. Perennial juggernaut teams, those teams were, right? This is not that NFL. And as much as everybody wants to make Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and whoever you think that quarterback is, Justin Herbert right now, into, he's the new Dan Marino, he's the new Peyton Manning, this is the new Manning Brady rivalry. No, it's not, bro. Stop comparing it. This NFL that we have right now, Kadeem, is like college compared to the NFL that we used to have. And I'm sounding like, yo, get off my lawn, because it's like I'm getting older and everybody, the music back then was better. The sports back then was better. Yo, it's good. It's good material. Don't get it twisted. It's a good product. It's just not as good as what it used to be. And that's how you get Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, Drake May, who else? And shout out to Matt Stafford. He doesn't deserve to be in this conversation. But like, yo, these are not super juggernaut teams. They're not super juggernaut quarterbacks. So I also throw another shot at Josh Allen, because I'm not finished taking shots at him here on Go Time Dolphins. If Josh Allen would have threw the ball better and didn't underthrow Brandon Cooks, we wouldn't have a conversation about if it was a catch or interception. So stop underthrowing receivers if you got the strongest arm in the league, Josh Allen. I'm just saying, it's a Dolphin podcast. I got to take my shots.
There's a comment here from Kenneth Rankin, aka Only the Will Survive. He said that was a buddy move, Sullivan hiring Hafley. And I was saying this morning, which it very well could be a buddy hire. At a time when you have the Rooney Rule to kind of get around that, but also, let's be completely honest, it's not just in the world of football, it's in the world of life. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Like, that's just the way the world is. But one way I'm trying to choose to be positive is that if Sullivan got the job, because to me Sullivan wasn't a buddy hire, he came from another organization. I don't know to the intent to which he knows Stephen Ross and Brandon Shaw and Troy Aikman, all that kind of stuff. Sullivan seemed like he was going to be a GM at some point. The Dolphins just snapped him up first. But if Sullivan came into the Dolphins and stamped his foot and said, we are hiring Jeff Hafley from the Packers, and either convinced everyone that was going to happen, or through the interview process, Hafley kind of held up his end of the bargain, that everyone else kind of agreed with Sullivan, like, actually, do you know what? He is the best. I'm choosing to see it as Sullivan being able to make his own decisions, which is what everyone wanted for the next year. Like, one of the things when getting rid of Chris Greer and McDaniel, everyone was like, Ross needs to get up the way and let the GM cook, as the kids say. And if Sullivan thinks this is going to cook, no offense, you don't have to be okay with it. But again, this is what you asked for. You asked for Chris Greer to be fired. You asked for Tua to be benched. You asked for McDaniel to go, and for the GM to pick his guy and make the decisions. Well, the GM has picked his guy, and if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it, but this was always going to be a consequence of bringing someone else in from another organization, because he's gonna have ties to people in that building, and that's just the way the world works. You on mute?
Could be a buddy hire, meaning Sullivan to Hafley hire. I don't think this is a Sullivan to front office buddy. Like, I think the front office did what the front office needed to do, which was, okay, they got their new GM. The new GM probably had an idea of what I want to do when I come in here. And to be candid, he probably got the job and told everyone, all right, this is the course of action. I have someone in mind, but I also have, he probably said, I have a few people in mind. This is my front runner, and let's go through the process. If you were transparent, I imagine he probably did that, right? And then everybody's like, all right, well, let's see. And then at the end of the day, they're attached at the hip. So if Sullivan comes in and says, yo, I'm willing to die on this hill, the Hafley hill, okay, cool. I put my trust in Sullivan as an owner and a president of football operations. Let him make his bed so he could sleep in it, or we could reap the benefits of it. That's it. That's what the process is. So personally, I would have went a different route, bro. I like the idea of Dayball on offense and any one of these dope defensive coordinators on defense. If we got a Harbaugh and Harbaugh came in with Dayball on offense and Hafley on defense, which we wouldn't have got Hafley because he would have stayed in Green Bay. But any one of these, and matter of fact, I'm not even in on Hafley actually as my DC. But any one of these DCs that are hot, cool. We went through the list, Kadeem, of how many defensive-minded coaches have won Super Bowls in the past 20 years. And I think we could have got to 25, but we did the past 20. And it was only 4, I believe. And 3 of the 4 are at the top of the list. Belichick, Tomlin, and Tony freaking Dungy, bro. Like, when you talk about football history, you're gonna, and you speak the name, hey, who you think was the best head coach ever? You're gonna have your list of best head coaches ever. Bill Walsh is gonna be up there. Don Shula's gonna be up there. Belichick's gonna be up there, although I think he should have asterisks on his name. When you say who you think were the best OC in the history of football, you're gonna have certain names in there. And then you're going to go to DC. Who do you think was the best defensive coordinators of all time? You're going to have these names. I guarantee Tomlin, Belichick, and Tony Dungy, bro. Now, yo, you got to find the new Belichick, the new Dungy, the new Tomlin eventually, I guess. You know what I'm saying? They can't become Hall of Famers without playing the games. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have to find some of these people. The hope is that you found the right one. On the flip side of that is when you hire a defensive guy to have, shout out to Jason Keck. When you hire a defensive guy, shout out to everyone in the comments, by the way. We rock with y'all boys. You already know what time it is, boys and girls. When you hire a defensive guy to be your head coach, as my co-host so eloquently put it on the last episode, just be ready for your OC to turn over all the freaking time. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're going to be winning, and then your OC is going to get coaching offers, and then you're going to have to replace them. And then your next OC is going to get head coaching offers, and then you're going to have to replace another OC. And now your offense is changing, maybe drastically and maybe not. Maybe you can make a little subtle changes, and this is what actually Philly's going through right now, right? They're always losing OCs. Jalen Hurts hasn't had the same offensive coordinator for like 13 seasons or something, or he's had 13 offensive coordinators in 15 years. It's the wildest stat. You know what I'm saying? So now flip side is if you hire that offensive-minded coach, you're going to have that continuity with your offense as long as you have this coach. And then your defense, which probably doesn't change as much as offense does, you have to fix that up. But it's an offensive-minded league now, and I would have gone that route. But this is it. Hafley is official. I am not happy about it. I'm not going to cry about it either. But I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to see what we get. Hey, I do think Dog looked like Giles from Street Fighter though.
Cody Rhodes is playing him in the next Street Fighter movie. Funny enough. Great to see you too, Jason. Thanks for the comment, guys. Everyone, leave a like, share the video. Greatly appreciated. Two things. One, Robert Saleh is the new head coach in Tennessee. Did you know he didn't call plays in New York?
For the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did know that because Jeff Ulbrich called him for the defense in New York.
So apparently,
Jeff Ulbrich is well, I don't know who it is now, but Jeff Ulbrich was the 2025 defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
He's just been retained.
So he is the current defense coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
But Saleh's going to be calling plays in New York, so in Tennessee. Basically, he was like, I ain't doing this whole just be a head coach. Like, he wants more hands-on, which I find quite interesting. But two, assuming Hafley calls plays in Miami, doesn't really matter who the DC is, because he's just there to, I guess, hold a clipboard and be like, hey, So one, doesn't matter who the DC is. Is there anyone you would like to come in, even though they're not called in plays? But two, you wanted Brian Dable in. It's still a possibility. Could he? Is he the OC you would target?
Yeah, I'm hoping we still could go that route on offense. I'll tell you this. I would have had Robert Saleh. I was about to call dog Mo Saleh. You know Mo Saleh is, right? Hey, I'm just saying, bro. Like, it's a podcast.
I'm asking you that question.
All right. So Mo Saleh is a soccer player, football player, but over here in the States, he's a soccer player to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's probably past his time now too, but he's still pretty. All right, still. Yeah. Mo Saleh's still all right. You know what I'm saying? He's past his time, but I thought he was pretty dope. But anyway, Robert Saleh, I always get those names confused. But Robert Saleh, I would have had Robert Saleh over Hafley. You know what I'm saying? I would have been real happy with Robert Saleh. Hey, I prefer not to go DC, but I don't think he was the reason why New York collapsed. I actually thought he was the reason why it held together as much as it did. But for your question, there's still a chance you could bring in a Brian Dable on offense. I don't think we would get him. I don't think anybody of value should want to come to Miami. I don't think Dayball should want to come to Miami. I think you start listening to some of these pairings that could happen, like Dayball and Flores together go somewhere. That's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Dayball and Saleh go somewhere, also real good. So I don't think anyone should want to come to Miami. And again, maybe that's why you say, you know what, I'm gonna put my hat in the Hafley name, and we'll get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? What the kids say? What they say? They get it out something or whatever. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, get it out the mud. Sullivan's like, yo, this is my dog, and it's ride or die with him, and we're gonna pull this franchise out of misery. Tough task, but if you're not gonna get the names, the big names, and the people of value, maybe you just say, nah, I'm gonna trust my dog, and we're gonna do that. Like, why go with someone like Shula, who I might not be cool with, and Sullivan, and they're basically on the same level as Sullivan or Hafley, and Shula might be on the same level, but I have a personal relationship with Hafley. Might as well go with my boy. And maybe that's the case. But shout out to Jeremy Fowler. This is hot off the press. ESPN Jeremy Fowler says, some executives believe that Malik Willis will be a target for the Dolphins because of the ties with the Packers and Hafley being the head coach. I promise you this, bro. This will be the second decision from the Dolphins that I'm really not liking. If Malik Willis is the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins and Hafley is the head coach, bro, I cannot shake how bad Malik Willis was, bro. I cannot shake it out of my mind. And I understand he's played some pretty good ball as of late, but I cannot get those images out of my mind, bro, of how terrible this man was. Of a like how bad of a player he was.
I'm not the biggest Malik Willis fan. As Tim Caro says, is his nickname Crochet Caro?
Crochet Carol.
He says how much you think he'd want to get paid, and yeah, I think there's a lot of people who, I guess, who saw Malik Willis back end of the season in, you know, relief duty for Jordan Love when he was injured, and going, he's probably gonna want too much to, you know, to be in Miami. However, it could be a situation where being in Miami with a coach that he knows and a legit, you know, chance to start might be the best thing for him. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Willis, but you know, we'll see. Jason Keck isn't a fan either. And yeah, Kenneth Rankin says, get ready, bro. I think that's about to happen. Justin Brian Dable quick, because there's an article I saw on Fansided earlier today, and it's talking about 4 potential offensive coordinators. I shout out Justin Carter for the article. He's mentioned Luke Getsy, who was with the Raiders, but didn't go so well. But he's now the Chicago Bears OC, had a great season in Chicago with Caleb Williams. Mentioned Jason Vrabel, who is the Green Bay Packers passing game coordinator, and again, you know, coming from Green Bay, you can kind of see it. He mentions Brian Dable, but he also mentions Bobby Slowick, and said the Dolphins could promote Bobby Slowick, who is currently the pass game coordinator in Miami. And that, you know, if you're going to, I guess, keep some continuity, and given what Slowick done with Houston and CJ Stroud, but I also kind of feel like the Dolphins will probably want to clean house totally. Like Hafley will want his people in the building.
Well, I think Sullivan will have say in that. Like, I think Sullivan would be like, "Oh no, I knew Bobby Slowick from years past, or I know what Bobby Slowick is capable of." So I don't think the Dolphins will say, "Hey, do your thing, but we want to keep our pass game coordinator to be the OC." That's a tough sell right there, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's the DC and Weaver, who I gotta imagine isn't gonna stay and run a different scheme for Hafley, who is a defensive minded coach. I can't imagine, bro. If you want to talk about the mess that it would be to have Weaver as your DC under a defensive minded Jeff Hafley that probably doesn't run the same system, we should probably stat check that, but still, like. And then you have the Dolphins say, "Oh, we want to keep Bobby Slowick too." Like, bro, I'm not a fan of that, bro. I'm less of a fan of that than I am of the hire of Hafley. So you have to reset the scales. You know what I'm saying? Hit the reset button. Let these boys do what they want to do, and hold them accountable for it along the way, and give them praise along the way when it's warranted. So nah, man, let them do. Let Sullivan make the decisions he wants to make. And call it a day. Now, in my opinion, when the more we talk and more we move on about this, and I say, "Oh, no one of note is going to want to come here," but it's like that across this. It's across the whole everything. It's no head coach is going to want to come here. Really, no OC is going to really want to come here. No DD is really going to want to come here, bro. It's like we gotta start from ground zero, bro. Like, now, yeah, all right, Bobby Slowick, and then you got the pass game coordinator for the Packers. Everybody's getting their opportunity off the Dolphins, and we just gotta hope this hits. That's tough, bro. So, man, I don't know, but I'll say here's the positive. I like what the Packers do on offense. I really do. So, and you mentioned the OC for the Bears. is he really a OC? You know what I'm saying? Is Frank Smith really the OC for the Dolphins? Was he really the OC for the Dolphins? Yeah, he had that title, but everyone knows McDaniel was calling plays. So the OC for the Bears, yeah, Ben Johnson's acumen doesn't come with him. You see what I'm saying? His Ben Johnson's innovations don't come with him either.
I guess the closest comparison we can make though is, Brian Flores was the DC in New England. Bill Belichick called plays. Like everyone knew that. But Brian Flores as defensive coordinator, both as the head coach of the Dolphins and now in Minnesota, kind of shows that he knows what's going on. So I guess you kind of have to.
Was he the DC? Was Brian Flores the DC? I thought he was a linebackers coach or a DB's coach.
He was linebackers coach with the Steelers. I will double check.
Yeah, and when you finish double check, I got somebody.
Right. He was the linebackers coach. Yeah, apologies.
Yeah, hey, so real quick, check Hafley because I don't think Hafley was a DC more than last year. I think 24 is the only year he was 24 and 25 was the only seasons he was the DC. Correct me if I'm wrong.
In the NFL, yeah, but he came from Boston College, so.
But he wasn't a DC in Boston College, right?
No,
he was a head coach in Boston College.
But at Ohio State, he was co-defensive coordinator, which sounds like.
All right. So let's clear the slate. Was he a defensive coordinator ever before Green Bay?
Yes, in Ohio State.
He's a co-defensive coordinator. So they had multiple different defensive coordinators at Ohio State. All right. Yes. This is all I'm saying, but it just doesn't sound like, oh, you know what, this guy is really the defensive minded guru. He's the next best defensive minded guy. I don't get that from this dude. Like he had one defensive coordinator run, and that was with Green Bay, and that was it. Everything else has been college. And all right, cool. You got to get your chance. I get it. I feel it. I feel you. I just don't want it for the Dolphins. And I'm hoping, Kadeem, let's be clear. I'm hoping someone clips this 2 years from now and be like, Charlie didn't believe, and the Dolphins got a championship. I'll be like, you're right. I didn't believe, but we got a championship. So I hope I'm wrong about this.
So, yeah, Tim Carroll says Brian Flores was the linebackers coach. But then Kenner's like, he was the DC. And again, Wikipedia says he was the linebackers coach. But I feel like Brian Flores was like, I also feel like he was a defensive coordinator, but it was kind of like they gave it to him, but he wasn't. And
I don't believe so, bro. I thought he was the linebackers or DB coach for the Patriots when they won that last Super Bowl with Brady, the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl. I believe it was. Matter of fact, I'm almost sure that he was that Super Bowl that we're talking about right now, the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl. I'm almost sure it was not. It was who was our DC under Flores?
Patrick Graham. No.
Before him.
Josh Boyer.
Say it again.
Was it Josh Boyer?
Yeah, Boyer. I think Boyer was the DC, and Flores was under Boyer that year. Because I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't Boyer, but the dynamic would be pretty funny if Flores got the head coaching job and then brought the person that was over him from New England to be under him at Miami, which is respectful. Like, yo, I respect you enough to like, yo, you're pretty dope, and I worked under you, but now you work under me. That's pretty selfless right there. But I don't think he was ever the DC in New England.
The Ravens website talking about Brian Flores, because they've interviewed him, they have him as climbed his way to the linebackers coach before taking a Dolphins job. So yeah,
and I thought that's what it was anyway.
Yeah. It's but also feel like there's something out there where Brian Flores was somehow seen as a defensive, and again, clearly he wasn't. But there's other websites where it's like, no, he was, a Patriots defensive coordinator. So it's like clearly someone put something out there. It's funny. There's a Twitter account who says he was a former NFL scout for the New York Jets. And everyone's like, dude, you was not a scout. You was like part of you work for the Jets, but you was never listed as a scout. And this guy's trying to, get clout on social media by saying I was a scout. And his current thing is Mendoza's a really, really bad quarterback, like day 3 quarterback. That's his thing right now. And
hey, let dog die on the hill, man. Like let
yeah.
this man have his time in the sun, and let's see if Mendoza pans out or not. Because I tell you this, he gave me a little dagger last night when he scrambled for that touchdown on 4th down. That was like a pretty. I'm like, yo, he did that. Like he has to get all his credit last night. So as of right now, Mendoza looks pretty good. He looks okay. Like I'm not saying he's gonna be better than anybody or worse than anybody. He just looks like I could see him starting in the NFL. And my process don't start until after the like season, and I really dive into the tape. But
very quickly as well, Josh Boyer was the cornerbacks coach in New England.
Josh Boyer was the quarterback coach?
Cornerback.
Oh, okay. So that might have been why Josh Boyer said, and I think it was Josh Boyer who said it, but I think he said Flo put Malcolm in, and Flo was like, Malcolm, go. That was I ain't gonna lie, just to love football, to see how that operation panned out. I'm like, dang, bro, I want football so bad in my life. I just hate it was the Patriots, but that was the operation. Before we go on the other side of overtime, you got something else?
Very quickly, you ever broken a toe before?
A toe?
Yeah.
No, I never broke a toe. I broke a lot of bones, but I haven't broken a toe.
So, playing football between Christmas and New Year's, and someone stood on my toe, my right little toe, and it's been hurting ever since. I'm limping. It's like, it just hurts. And everyone's like, it's a broken toe. But because it's the little toe, there's no point in getting it diagnosed because they're just like, go home, like thing.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I am playing on through injury with a broken toe. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm currently doing. No, I have proof. I have proof on my phone. Today I done 19,000 steps. 19,000 steps on a suspected broken toe. Yesterday I done 19,000 steps on a suspected broken toe. Charlie, I play through injury. I'm just saying. I play through injury.
Kadeem, you don't y'all got free healthcare out there? Like you might as well just get it checked anyway.
I'm in Spain. I
know, but when you go home, you can just get it checked. Like, hey, yo, is my toe broken or not? You just like, yo, y'all could just one. You don't want it to get infected. You want to see if it's a clean break, if it's just a fracture. You want to, what I'm saying? You just want to be sure.
Yeah. I think, like, genuinely, it's more, do I want to sit in a hospital for hours to be told your toe is broken, go home and, as Tim says, rest, ice, and elevate? Not really.
All right.
So plus, my mother-in-law is a nurse as well, so.
I was about to say, why don't you give it a couple of weeks? How long has it been like that?
About nearly a month, about 3.5 weeks.
Well, you should fix it up, rest, ice, compression, elevation, and like really treat it. And then if it's still an issue, you should definitely get it checked out. Because then, just to be honest, but y'all got it made over there, bro. I wish I had it made over there.
Oh, Charlie, as Tim says, no point. Nothing will get done, and you'll have a 5-hour wait. And I get it,
Hey, yeah, you're right. But I was about to go into I will give me 5 hours over what I'm getting over here. But
we ain't doing that.
Do you think between me and you, we can name all of the Miami Dolphin head coaches? So Hafley is the 15th Miami Dolphin head coach. Hey, comments, don't cheat. You know what I'm saying? If you think you can name all the head coaches for the Miami Dolphins, hey, Kadeem over here looking at stuff, I don't like it.
I'm
between
looking
me
at
and you,
the outro. I'm getting the outro ready.
between me and you, Kadeem, do you think we could name? I think there's 3 interim coaches, so we won't name the interim coaches. Maybe if we could do some extra credit, we'll throw those in there afterwards. So, do you think you can name me and you can name all 12 Miami Dolphin head coaches? We don't have to necessarily put them in order, but I will try to. But do you think we could do it?
You can. I know for a fact I can't.
I mean, you
Like,
can assist. You can assist.
I can assist the last like 10 years, and then it's
All
over
right.
to you.
So come on over to overtime and see if we can pull this thing off. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
What you got, Kadeem?
So, obviously, I could probably name. I can name 5. Obviously, Shula, Philbin, Gase,
Hold
Flores.
on. All right, fire away.
Yeah, so I personally, yeah, Shula, everyone knows.
Yep.
And then the head coaches of my tenure, and yeah, so Philbin, Gase.
He's in my tenure.
Philbin, Gase, Flores, McDaniel, and obviously now Hafley. So 5 but 6, including the new guy.
All right. So I guess I'll do the heavy lifting. Shout out to Kadeem. So we got Hafley. We have Hafley. We have McDaniel. We have Flores. We have Gase. Joe Philbin was before Gase, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because
I'm
I maybe was putting Gase, but I remember Philbin briefly.
Joe Philbin. Then I'm gonna say Tony Sperano before Joe Philbin. Cam Cameron before Tony Sperano. And then I think you had Nick Saban. And before Nick Saban, you had Dave Wanstead. That's 9. Then you had Jimmy Johnson. Then you had Don Shula. Then you had George Wilson. I think that's in order too. And for extra credit, yeah. Matter of fact, I think I nailed that. But for extra credit, the 3 interim head coaches were Dan Campbell, Todd Bowles, and I think this last dude, I think his last name is Bates, and I think his name is Jim Bates. What we got? Sorry, Kadeem. Oh,
yeah. Shout out to Mr. Finisher. Is that a picture of Tua?
It looks like Tua with like that's
and
duct tape around his neck.
Yeah, you said nailed it. Also, Tavon Diggs, that's been released by Green Bay after 2 games, could be on his way to Miami. I think you're probably going to see a lot of former Packer players on both sides of the ball linked to Miami because it's just the easy thing to do if they're released. But so much is going to come down to finances. Can the Dolphins afford to bring in that many players? But again, as you mentioned, well, as I was chatting to 5 Yard Lee earlier, shout out to 5 Yard Lee. people want to rebuild until it's time to start rebuilding, and then it's, oh no, I could lose my favorite player. The Dolphins, we had this conversation back end of last season. There's probably 4 to 6 players max who the Dolphins should want to retain, not just beyond this season, but no season beyond that. Everyone else, thank you, but thank you for your service. Go enjoy your NFL career elsewhere. So yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of turnover in the next, or what's turnover in the next 2 years. Just a part of life. And yeah, you're going to see a lot of players who spent time in Green Bay, or were drafted from Boston College or had experience at Boston College. Like, it's easy. I also think it's quite lazy, but that's just the way we are, or where we are right now. Also, very quickly, Hafley's press conference is Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is like 4 p.m. my time, which I think is around the time I land in the UK back from Barcelona. So yeah.
I want to be very clear. When was the last time Green Bay stunk up the joint? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm okay with what's going on. I just don't love it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about Hafley. I don't know if he's the guy, but I'm more okay with Sullivan than I am Hafley. So again, if we came out with Green Bay's quarterback coach as our OC, no, I'm not. You're not gonna see me excited about it. But I actually like what they're doing on offense, and I like that there's no one wide receiver one over there, and they spread the ball around to like 7 people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool with that. How many times did I understand we don't have an Aaron Rodgers, but how many times did they draft a wide receiver one and still be successful in not doing so? Not drafting a wide receiver one and still being successful in football. So look, I'm okay with what's going on. This first, oh man, bro, I was going, yeah. We'll see how it plays out.
I'll answer myself. I'm okay with the hire of John Eric Sullivan. Again, I'm gonna kind of withhold judgment until, or not withhold judgment, but I don't know what he's going to do. Now he's the GM, so I can like it, I can hate it. Ultimately, he's going to be judged on the players he drafts, and I guess the coaching staff that him and Hafley put together. It's easy to have an interview and say the correct things, like, I want to build through the drafts, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Cool. Now, can you draft the players that build that allow you to build?
Everybody wants to do that, though. That's cool. Yeah, everybody wants to do it.
Yeah. Also, very quickly before we go, Tim Carroll says there's all this year's rookies, all got game time, and 3 more years of controlled contracts. The more players staying than you think. We can have the discussion off air, Tim, but I'll say very quickly, I don't think that means jack. Like, because they weren't drafted by this regime. So you're from the old regime, and yes, you might have had some good moments as a rookie. You could be gone next year simply because we brought in someone who's now taking your place and you've been traded, or you haven't performed that well. Like, all this year's rookie, let's be completely honest. If the Dolphins went and drafted 2 new guards and Jonah doesn't see, the field again, he didn't have a good rookie season. So,
and I would be like, yo, that's crazy, because he never got a start in his natural position, and that's some of the stuff right there.
Yeah, but that's new. If you get a new offensive line coach and a new offensive lineman, and then a new, like, there's it might be a small possibility, but there's a possibility that Jonah's days as a Miami Dolphin are numbered. And
what's crazy is all we need is like an additional right tackle. Shout out to friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson. But at the same time, if you get a right tackle, now you could put Austin Jackson at left guard, and then you could put Savai Naya at right guard. So it's like, and then you have your center already, then you have Patrick Paul at left tackle. So now you already have the pieces and they're out of position. It's the craziest freaking thing, bro. Like, this is not rocket science, man. And then you don't have to just get one right tackle. You could get multiple linemen, and then when someone goes down, you're ready. Like, stop trying to be this. Oh well, Buffalo didn't have different linemen. What's it called? Different linemen
combinations.
Baltimore don't have different lineman combinations. Yeah, well, cool. Like, we hurt. Now what?
Do you know who had that honor this year of having like the least amount of combinations on the offensive line?
Who was it?
The New York Jets. And look what that did for them. Like,
crazy.
Yeah. Also, very quickly, Jason Keck says they are not going to ignore or half-ass the Lions, guaranteed. Jason, be careful. Not be careful what you wish for. You don't know what this new coaching staff are going to do. They might be like, actually, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. So, you would hope that they fix the trenches or attempt to fix the trenches. But again, whole other conversation. We now have so many episodes prior to free agency and the draft talk about a whole bunch of things. Probably anything else?
That's all I got.
Then until the next time, we shall see you soon. Peace. Music.